Hello, collector friends, and welcome back to Houston Militaria's YouTube channel. I'm Jeff, and today in front of me I have a somewhat unique U.S. Marine Corps Garrison cap from World War II. This particular cap on the front, on the face, doesn't really look very unique. It looks like a normal U.S. Marine Corps Garrison cap. We have our EGA, or our Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. And on the other side we have, which you may or may not be able to see very well, a silver bar which denotes a first lieutenant. This particular Garrison cap was picked up at a show here in Texas some time ago by myself. And when I picked it up, it was picked up and purchased just as a normal Garrison cap with nothing really special to it. Until I got it home and I started to really look through it, kind of look closer at some of the insignia on it, the EGA and the lieutenant bar, which is a relatively early first lieutenant bar. And then inside the pouch right here, I found what will be part of some of the things I will be sharing with you today, which is a Marines registration card. This particular card was issued to a first lieutenant, Robert Raines Harbison. He was issued this card in October of 1940 in Jackson, Mississippi. Lieutenant Harbison stood 6'2", 185 pounds, which at the time towered over most people. If you've ever looked at most World War II uniforms, a lot of the veterans from that time were very, very small in stature. So this little card right here has just changed the whole game with this. Again, we've gone from a very kind of generic Garrison cap to a now named and unique Garrison cap. You know, value-wise, it does help it, but for anybody that likes to have more unique things with a story, myself included, it now makes it much more unique. These Garrison caps, we do see them, but again, when you have something that's ID to a person, especially something that was found like this in kind of an organic way, this isn't something that I believe that the seller, and there was no intention on me misleading the seller misleading me. It was just something that the seller didn't catch. Okay, and this is what I would like to impart all of you with today, and this is something that was taught to me very early on in my collecting career, and I'll share a story with it as well, is any time that you pick up a uniform, a helmet, a Garrison cap like we have in front of us, even small arms underneath the stock and the butt pad where the cleaning kit goes, you would be very surprised where you'll find things that were left by soldiers. And if you think about, if you are in the service, if you've done some type of blue collar work where you wear a uniform, you have some type of tool belt, pouches, pockets, anywhere that you have forgotten things and found them later in the wash, these soldiers were no different than us. They would put things in pockets, they would go and just forget that they were there. Me personally, I have found multiple things in pockets, from passes or registration cards like this, maps of London where it has all the attractions for a soldier on leave, pictures, and another part that I would like to share right now, which is one that stands out, and I remember to this day when I first started collecting. I was at a show here in Houston. It was the Houston Gun Collector Show. I was maybe junior high, early high school age, walking around with my father, and I was looking at a uniform. It was a German uniform. And I started talking to the seller, and I started going through the pockets. I had just been taught to do this. As I was going through the pockets, I found a German armband that was in one of the pockets. The seller had no idea that it was there, and was very surprised and happy that I'd found it for him. Sadly, I didn't get the uniform. The price, even before the armband was found, and after the armband was found, was just too high for me at the time. Again, I was a younger collector. I had a very tight budget, and it just didn't make sense to me at the time. But the lesson stayed with me, and that has been, as we can see here, invaluable. Because these little nuanced things can sometimes mean so much more. So the lesson that I would like to impart with all of you with today is dig. Not just dig with going to the shows, going to the swap meets, going to the antique malls, and to find the things. Once you find the item, make sure that you've checked through all of it. Check for numbers, check for names, check all of the little cracks and crevices of these pieces of militaria to make sure that you have found everything that there is to find. After I was able to find this, I was able to look up some cursory information on Lieutenant Harbison. He was born in 1913. He died in 2001 here in Texas, and he's buried at Fort Sam Houston here in Texas. So again, it tells so much more of a story, and it means so much more to some of us that like to collect these things, honor these veterans, and honor their memory. So for today, take this, your next swap meet, your next gun show, your next antique mall trip. If there's a seller there at the time, politely ask, but be sure to look and dig through all these things, especially after you've purchased them, or even go back through some of your collection now. You'd be surprised what you might actually find in some of the pockets, the helmets, the caps, and all the different things that you have in your collection currently. You would be surprised. Thank you all again for joining me, and see you on the next installment.